Jasmeene. I'm the resident dramaturg, and I had the absolute pleasure of sitting with these works over like the past year, really, in different iterations. So it's really always exciting to see how the work grows. And these are works in progress, so part of this post-show discussion is talking about process, but then also to hear what y'all are thinking about, what's resonating for you. So just a little bit of feedback. So I will open up, do a little introduction. I have a couple of questions, and then we'll ask the audience to offer some questions. So if you can introduce yourselves and your role, and we'll go on.
Yeah, hi, I'm Petron. I'm the playwright and performer of opening night. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Magaly Colimon-Christopher. I'm the artistic director of Conch Shell Productions. I performed in Hello Cousin and wrote it, and I directed opening night.
Hi, my name is Frank Robinson. I am the writer and director of Why.
Hi, J.R. Roche, writer, director of Silver Silhouettes that theme saw earlier. It's a 1-minute clip of my most recent movie. It's finished, so we're about to enter the festivals at this point. So.
So you'll be getting heads up about the festival because you'll be on our mailing list because you attended, and he'll be telling me when his film is in the festival. So hopefully it'll be in a festival in New York. Hopefully it'll be in the Conch Shell International Film Festival this year. Because we have a film festival that we do.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to start off. I think sometimes audience members are always curious about what inspired the piece or your pieces. So we'll start, Peter, what inspired your piece? And then we'll go down the line.
Yeah, we had an artist chat a couple weeks ago, and I talked about this also, but I wrote this piece as a part of this education performance conference, and I remember I had gotten tasked to write a one-person show so that we had an educator there who was going to talk about teaching and translating performance in the classroom. And for a couple weeks, nothing was coming out, and some of the things that I had written were not appropriate for for the conference. And then 2 nights before I had to go and perform it, I sat down and this is what poured out of me. And I said this in the artist chat that I think it was sitting down and digging very, 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 very deep inside of me, and the things that I didn't know was bothering me, and just pulling it out and pouring it onto the page, almost like vomiting. So that's what inspired the piece.
Beautiful, thank you. Magaly.
Hello Cousin was inspired by some testimonials I'd received, some anonymous testimonials I'd received from Haitian women living in Haiti. And early in the year, I wrote an adaptation of them as monologues and explored them as a video concept. And I was thinking of another piece to bring to this, and I decided I'm going to take the challenge of writing a piece just for this event. So it's completely new. And I really am happy I took on that challenge because it allowed me to dig deeper in my relationship with my family in Haiti, I'm a Haitian American, my relationship with Haiti and this responsibility that tends to be identifiable for many Haitian diaspora people, period. But for me, my relationship with the island. And I was so grateful that Candace got to play my cousin because it's so important to have Haitian people playing Haitian people because we have subtext. And as you saw, cultural understanding is key, and that's what we do at Conch Shell Productions. We focus on the specific cultural ethnic voices of the Caribbean. And so, yeah, this is a part of a series of one act. So I'm writing different relationships between family members. Yeah.
What inspired me was, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of casualties of war, where kids are in mourning of the losing their parents or family members. So seeing those pictures just sparked an empathy and a curiosity as to what is the core reason this is going on. What's behind the mask that have to be worn for this to take place? And that's what got my creative forces, juices going to write something that depicted a core reason for this type of thing to take place. And that's what inspired me. It came from the heart, you know, it came as a plea for humanity.
Well, I always end up in a very difficult spot because different things actually inspire the story. It's pretty much the war. There is an element of the folks that came back from Vietnam who they're actually forgotten. Like all wars, the warriors that come back and they're always usually forgotten pretty much. So there's an element of one of the characters in the movie is a war veteran who came back and pretty much was shunned, and he was trying to find himself. Now his the leading character, his sergeant actually saved her dad in the war, right? But she actually ends up on the street. So the story is about pretty much survival. Her story, she actually lost her children to being on the street. She was on drugs. She lost her children to the state, and her protector became her father's best friend at war, right? And then she had this handler who was trying to control her, to pretty much keep her on the streets dancing for him. So rambling on, but the story is pretty much about survival and breaking some kind of a bondage. The thing stands in her way. A judge who wanted to keep her from her children because of her state. He himself has his own issues with his parents. He was from a single mom who he wasn't sure who his father was. So he grew up with a kind of a stigma, anger, black and white, very cold. And in his eyes, she was wrong for being on drugs with her children. So anyways, long story short, it's about her getting back control of her children. But what stands in her way was this judge and her handler who doesn't want to release her. So
A handler, you mean like a pimp?
yeah, well, I didn't call him because she wasn't a prostitute, but she danced. She was a dancer, right? So he enjoys the dancing. He enjoys the money from the dancing, but he secretly loves her, but he doesn't want her to be too close to people. But anyway, it's a very convoluted story, but simply put, I always find these difficult scripts to write because they come to me in different forms, right? So the judge came to me, I was actually on a plane, seeing this guy having a cup of soup. Looked very peaceful, gray beard like yourself, gray, very
You
distinguished.
just pointed out my husband.
Yeah, no, but distinguished, right? So I kind of wonder about his world. It looks kind of more black and white, very kind of sterile in a sense, right? So that came to me, and her struggles, because I know of people in her situation, right? Conflicts with parents, being on the road, on the street, pretty much being raised by the street, but she's not off the streets, so to speak. So she's not a prostitute, but she's out there. So the difficulty is trying to get all these things to blend to one singular theme, and it's about bondage and getting over obstacles, pretty much. Did I summarize it in 5 minutes?
Yeah. Well, you partly answered the question I was going to ask you. So I'm going to ask a different question and then come back to you. But one of the interesting things with this festival is that many of you are wearing different hats. And for within one piece or for other pieces. So what was that like to be, to star in something, perform something that you wrote, and then also have your attention, directing another piece or to direct your own piece. And whoever feels compelled can start.
I'll start. Oh my gosh, the entire piece in itself was just such a meta experience. There were influences from, meta in the theatrical way that, I was talking to the light board operator during the piece, but also meta in the way that I pulled inspiration from my own self, but there were some things that were totally sort of fictionalized. Like I did not see Slave play on Broadway. Really wish I did though. Really wish I did. So that was fictionalized, and I'm not pretentious at all in real life. I think I'm quite humble, actually. But I resonated with so much of what was said, and then there were other things. I was like, this guy, what's going on with him? So I guess in the meta way, it was very cool to do that. I don't know that I answered your question though, being the playwright and the performer. It makes you realize that there's a lot of work to do on both ends. Mm-hmm. And the playwright and the performer, they have a conversation and they let each other know what the work is that needs to be done for me to get my work done.
I think it's really important if you decide to act in a piece that you wrote that you have a director you trust. And I don't know why Aixa is not up here. Oh, okay. No, it's actually all the artists. I'm so sad. But Aixa is a fantastic director who understands my thoughts before I speak them. And so I could trust her, right? Because typically when I am in a piece that I write, I direct it. But you can't do that for theater, you can do that for film. So this was the first time I've written and been in something and had a director, and so love you. And in terms of producing this event and also directing other people's pieces, optimally I wouldn't do everything, but in order to, my main focus is getting voices out, is showcasing Caribbean diaspora and Caribbean voices. So I am willing to put myself out there in service of making it happen. Would I have preferred to find a director to direct Petron's piece? Yeah, but when I got it, I was like, I'm gonna direct this, I'm sorry.
She was great.
I can't resist directing it. This needs me, so. Did it need me?
It certainly did.
Okay. So it's fun. It's a roller coaster ride. I'm a great compartmentalizer, and I have meltdowns on a regular basis. Ask him. And so, yeah, that's it.
I don't know if I could follow that.
No competition.
As a writer and director of the piece, it's almost like, you know what, women? I got a itsy bitsy glimpse of what it must be like to deliver a baby.
Yeah.
It's a labor.
Yeah.
And when the vision comes, when the idea comes, this was totally inspiration. It impregnated me. And I had to do the work to give the vision birth. Now, I could have asked someone else to direct it, but I needed to take the time to vet who's going to nurture my child. And then I said, all right, later for that, just do it.
You said the F word. I
did.
saw that. That was so nice.
But anyway, I delivered the baby. I thank this woman for allowing me to use her platform as well as be a member and grow and be nurtured by the members. It was like that prenatal care that you need to have a healthy baby. And this group, Conch Shell Productions and Playwrights, were that force for me, as well as other things, but they were a main force. They tore my ass up when I did home. Okay, and you need that honesty.
You saw he was pointing at me, right?
No, I was actually thinking of
He was pointing at her too.
You and Tanya.
Oh, Tanya tore your
Tanya ripped me a so I got the message. And this man gave me some suggestions which helped to.
So he didn't tear your and tore your.
Yeah, the woman tore my ass.
Okay, sorry, you two.
I'll
We're
never
gonna
get
cut that out.
constipation again. But anyway. So it was with that, writing and directing and bringing it to you was just a labor of love. I can just sum it up. It was a labor of love. And I hope you enjoyed watching this creation. And hopefully it fed you something that you can take with you.
Yeah, I have a tremendous respect for actors. Actually, I can't act, and I will never act in any of my pieces because I can't. That's not my thing. I love writing, and it's very magical when you actually find a person who embodies the characters you're actually writing about. When you see the person in the what do you call it, audition, you say, "This is it." And I realized, I have the piece. I don't want to give it to anyone to actually direct who don't fully understand the vision. So I'd rather actually have a say in directing. So directing, I like that. The writing, I think writers are kind of weird. You have to be. I mean, no disrespect. You have to be in a different space. It's not regular. You go some really dark places sometimes, right? You go there. It's just a God-given talent, I guess, right? So I write the stories and I write the characters, and when you find a person who embodies you, exactly that's the person who you want,
And just to clarify, Jared, were you the writer and director of your film?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Producer as well.
Producer as
And
well.
producer.
And I hate producing. I don't like producing. It's a difficult one. Yes. Producing is actually a difficult part of the process as well.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
writing,
and did I mention he's one of our board members?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
All right, I'm going to open up to the audience. So if you have a question, you can come to the mic if you want to be online. If you don't want to be online, you can just offer your question from your seat. So just to gauge, anyone have a question right now? Yes?
Come to the mic.
Or
Don't mess up the camera. That's my husband. I can tell him what I want.
After 17 years, it's good
You're
to
not
know.
even in the light. Don't turn to the audience. We can't.
It's good to know. This happens at home all the time. After 17 years, it's good to know what the secret is. I need Aixa at home. Because she can predict her thoughts before she says them. She's never confessed that for anybody, except me once in a while. So I'm gonna build a big house, and you and your family can move in. So I get another 17 years out of this thing. That's one thing. I'm just glad to be here and
You're not
experience
in the light,
everything.
darling. Back up. You're in the shadow. You're so
This is
tall.
where she directs me.
Yeah,
You're getting a free sitcom right here.
Okay.
How about this? Is this good?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good enough.
All right, so I'm glad to be here. I experienced it. I'm sorry I missed your piece. I was trying to park. It was crazy out there. Yeah, I'll be definitely checking it out because I would definitely like to. I like problem resolutions on films I watch, pieces I watch. Sounds like my kind of piece. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm glad you're on the board, obviously. She won't tell you the secret, but I gave her the name, Conch Shell.
He did. He did.
As a St. Tomian, you know.
Did he also decide to pronounce it conch and not conch?
Absolutely. Because it's conch.
I pronounce it conch.
She likes to eat conch, but this is conch shell.
Yes, thank you.
So I appreciate
What's
all
the
your
question, honey?
all your work. I got statements to make.
Okay.
The statement I got to make is obviously hearing your piece did something for me. I appreciate hearing it. It had a bigger impact than hearing it when you practice it at home. That was phenomenal. I'd like to see more from you because you impressed me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good. Believe it or not, my favorite piece, I'll pay for this.
veteran.
is why. Now here's why impacted me. So I was part of Operation Desert Storm. I was on the USS Saratoga during that time. And one of the hardest 9 months of my life. And I didn't think about the impact I was having with that support team for the air wing I was supporting. I was computer tech. So it was hard for me and the 5,000 people to kind of perceive the impact we were having on the Iraqis and so forth. I'm 54, that was 1992, 91, 92, 1990, 91, 92. And it's since the internet, I'm thinking in terms of, I find myself thinking about people we lost, because we lost some people in ships, because you know, the biggest problems is fatigue, accidents, that kind of thing on the ship. It's so funny you mentioned why, because there's another story being told that no one's talking about. And because of the internet, I had a chance to kind of be more exposed to the fact that what we were doing as Americans, defending your freedoms, had an impact on people who now their generations have a problem with us. Was I proud? Yes. Am I still a little bit oblivious to some of the things that we did for a war that we shouldn't have been in the first place? Absolutely. So I'm conflicted, but it stirred me up in my gut. I ain't gonna lie. It stirred me up. It bothered me because I know what that feels like. I've known from several shipmates and just people in the military that was in the Navy like I was, the impact, just reflecting on how people may have been affected by what I was doing for 9 months in the Red Sea, trying to do my part to defend our freedoms for the Corporation of America, with a president that said we need to be there and we wasn't supposed to be there. We still haven't found any weapons of mass destruction. It's a whole other subject. That's the TikTok for you on there somewhere. Anyway, all that to say, that affected me. It stirred some emotion. I'm not a writer. I'm not a director. I might produce some stuff in the future because I got some ideas, but that gave me another idea of some stories that need to be told that you will never hear because they're from people like me that are not in the field, just happen to be married to the field somewhat, you know, in this regard. So thank you for that. And I will say one more thing. It's funny how you mentioned the word pregnant. Yes. Because that birthed something to me sitting right there about what you were saying. It birthed that. There's some stories that people need to know about the time that there was an accident during an exercise where we wiped out a whole bunch of Turkish people that we were exercising with on an accident. You'll never know about that. I was there. I was a night shift supervisor. I seen bodies in the hallway that we pulled out. It was an accident. I told my wife this story. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay. I know what that feels like. Man, and it wasn't cool. And I had to send my guys to pull those bodies out because it's night shift, and I had to be in the shop to run the shop. And I know what that feels like. You can't unsee some of those things. That was 1991, I think it was. Yeah, you can't unsee it. So as far as birthing, it's funny you say that because that you kind of stirred me up hearing that. I'm also glad to hear that you're also getting toward new because
That's my underwear, okay?
I'm glad she's getting somebody else because I'm like sometimes I'm gonna start a support group. Like, who else gets this? So I just have to change your tone a little bit. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to all of you. Can't wait to see your film. Glad you're doing what you're doing, babe. And yeah, you belong on film somewhere because you got something for sure, for sure. But thank you. That's all.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions. Any questions out there lingering on our hearts, our minds? As I said yesterday, I'm a facilitator. I can sit with the silence as we talk.
Peace and blessings all. First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity, my queen. Appreciate it. This has been a blast. I had a wonderful time. I didn't get a chance to see anybody else's piece, so I can't really comment on that. But I do have a question for Robinson, correct? Frank, director? Yes. Oh, just checking. I was curious about your piece. Because the way the story ends, the character leaves off with the sergeant. And I'm just curious about the things that, Gary, right? Right. I'm curious about the things that Gary encountered after he walks off with the Sarge. I was wondering if you were thinking about expanding on your story.
Good seed planted. And by the way, Gary.
Okay. All right.
And that's a good thought because it's an organic process.
Right.
It has a life of its own. And if I don't resist with bullshit, I will continue the process. And good seed, thank you.
I could see it even if you break it up into little episodes here and there, like you could pull, man, and you might be able to get at least, 8, 10 episodes. Looks like a Netflix type thing. And then you got a brother over there that could actually put hand the camera, on the photography tip. And you like producing, I heard you say that. But so I mean, I'm just saying, I'm gonna go sit down now. But appreciate it, my queen. And you expand on that thought, brother. Keep hope alive.
Okay, I'm gonna take one last question, and then we'll wrap up. So I'll be seeing another draft in my inbox, right?
My dramaturg.
It's actually not a question. I just felt compelled to say that I missed your performance, so sorry, and I didn't see your film, but, both plays, Y and the other play, I think...
Hello, cousin?
Yeah, hello, yeah. Just are telling profound, universal stories, and I think that voices that certainly Haiti, has been just ignored, and the tragedy that's unfolding there, and we need to hear more about that story. And I think, the why was so powerful and actually brought me to tears, because we're seeing it displayed before us on national television. The whole world is watching a genocide. And, this country is founded upon a genocide. There's a genocide in the Congo. There was a genocide in, Cambodia. Kissinger just died, and he was the mastermind behind millions of people with the Khmer Rouge, okay? And so there's a profoundness to the stories, and they both intertwine for me. And there was a statement that really was very powerful in Why, and it said, as he's dying, he's telling Gary, listen to your heart. And I think that we're in an echo chamber at the moment, especially with social media, CNN, and all of these propaganda broadcasting systems. And I think that for us to know what is true, we must go back to the heart. We can't hear the truth. We have to feel the truth. And often when we hear media, we're like, there's a little disquiet and a little questioning, and it's coming from our gut because something is not quite right. So I think that was a really powerful statement. It resonated profoundly with me, and I'm going forward, listening with my heart. Thank you all so very much. It was wonderful.
And that was actually a beautiful way to close, so thank you. Thank you for that. But give it up for these wonderful directors and writers.